Bermuda is found in the North Atlantic, not in the Caribbean, as you might be forgiven for thinking. It is about 7 hours flying time from London, but within 90 minutes reach of the eastern cities of the USA. It is not surprising, therefore, that most of the island's visitors come from North America, nor that the local accent is more akin to that of the United States than the Caribbean. The so-called island of Bermuda is actually made up of more than 150 islands, the largest 5 of which are joined by bridges and causeways. Their origin is volcanic, but coral abounds, making Bermuda the most northerly group of coral islands in the world. It is 22 miles long, but only 2 miles across at its widest point, and its shape has been described both as a string of pearls and as a fish hook. Bermuda is the oldest self-governing colony in the British Commonwealth. Though the island was first discovered in 1511 by a Spaniard, Juan de Bermudez, who gave it its name, it was not inhabited until 1609, when a British ship, the Sea Venture, commanded by Admiral Sir George Somers and with 150 Britons on board, ran aground and was wrecked during a storm. Bermuda's resident population now numbers around 60,000, more than half of whom are black, descendants of original slaves. There were no motorcars in Bermuda before 1946. But you can't hire a car here. Only local residents are allowed to have cars, and even they are limited to 1 per household. And maximum permitted speed is all of 20 miles an hour. So, to get around, if you're brave, you can hire a scooter. You can use taxis, but they're expensive. The best way for visitors to get around is to use public transport. Catch a bus, or take a ride on a ferry. You can buy passes, allowing unrestricted travel on both. Some Bermudians find other ways of getting around. For the British visitor, many things are familiar. Traffic drives on the left. Union Jacks abound. And that lamppost looks familiar. Traffic lights and road signs are the same. Though it may seem odd to see a giveaway sign through a palm tree. Now for a look at the city of Hamilton, well placed towards the centre of the island, capital of Bermuda. This is Hamilton's City Hall. And here is the Parliament building. Bermuda flourishes from the twin benefits of tourism and being a tax haven. There is no poverty in Bermuda, no unemployment, and no income tax. Most of Hamilton's upmarket shops are to be found on Front Street, which, as its name implies, is to be found on the waterfront. At the northeastern corner of the island we find the old town of St. George's, the original capital of Bermuda. Twice each week, the town crier and Lady Mayor put on a show for the tourists.
Oh yeah! Oh yeah! Oh yeah! visitors to St. George's, the oldest continually inhabited English-speaking town in the Western Hemisphere.
We are invited into the town hall.
Your Worship.
Thank you. Good morning. Welcome to St. George's on this cold day. This is our winter. How about that? I guess for some of you, this is almost like summer. Nice calm water right here. And the water temperature, I think, is just around about 68, maybe 70. So that's not too bad.
Then on to the ancient ducking ceremony. This young lady stands accused of being a gossip and a nag. Here comes her punishment.
Are you quite fit? Do you repent? And again!
Also by the waterfront, a statue of Admiral Sir George Somers, the man whose ship ran aground in 1609. And here a cannon used to deter unwelcome Spanish visitors. St. George's is a very attractive town, with a history dating back to 1612. There's much to see here. Including St. Peter's Church, dating from 1611 and claimed to be the oldest Anglican church in the Western Hemisphere. And there was a sign to help us find the bus stop. And now a trip by ferry across the Great Sound to the old Royal Navy dockyard. Leaving Hamilton behind us and heading across the Great Sound. And on the way making a stop at Watford Bridge. One of the inter-island connecting bridges. Now arriving at the dockyard area. No longer used by either the Royal or US Navies. The Royal Navy sold the dockyard to the Bermudan government in 1953. Having become rather run down, the area has now been beautifully restored. And offers much for the visitor to see. These buildings were constructed from local stone as dwellings for the officers of the dockyard and their families. Unfortunately, there was no time to visit the Maritime Museum, something we'll have to do again some other day. One of the reasons for coming to Bermuda is, of course, for the mild climate. There are only two seasons here, spring and summer, and for the beautiful coral pink sands and gloriously coloured sea. This part of the film needs little in the way of commentary. This is Horseshoe Bay. Spanish Point, Mangrove Bay, and Warwick Long Beach. All quite beautiful. All too soon, it was time to leave Bermuda. And fly away home.